This is The Brief on navigating Thailand's nightlife safely. Exploring those famous neon streets is legendary, but you really gotta know the unwritten rules and money traps so your trip doesn't end in total disaster. First, guard your cash against classic bar tricks. Bring cash from home to dodge massive ATM fees. Inside, keep an eagle eye on your receipt cup, the bin. Extra drinks mysteriously show up, so treat it literally like a running taxi meter. Take your eyes off it, and the price jumps. And if you're negotiating a bar fine, that's the fee to take a worker out of the venue, state your price up front. Asking how much guarantees you'll get overcharged. Second, prioritize your physical safety over your ego. If you catch a padded bill and the bar won't budge, honestly, just pay it and leave. Arguing loudly is a huge mistake that draws swift, violent retaliation from security. Also, absolutely no photos inside and zero illegal drugs. Thai penalties are intensely severe. Is winning a $5 argument really worth a trip to a foreign hospital? Finally, beware the emotional tourist trap. Stick to the 3-day rule. Never spend more than 3 days with a bar worker. That intense affection is just a transaction to sell high-priced lady drinks. Guys who fall for it end up bankrolling totally fake relationships. Are you feeling a genuine connection or just sliding down a highly perfected sales funnel? By keeping your wits sharp, your ego in check, and treating the whole shebang as a fun transaction rather than a romantic comedy, you'll head home with your savings and your safety completely intact.
So, the absolute most dangerous thing you can do on your first night in Thailand, and I mean this seriously, it isn't eating the street food.
Right.
It's not riding one of those rented motorbikes through the chaotic Bangkok traffic. And it is certainly not wandering down some dark alley.
No, absolutely not.
No. The most financially and honestly emotionally hazardous thing you can do on night one is sitting down to play a simple, colorful, plastic child's game of Connect 4.
I mean, I know it sounds utterly absurd to frame a tabletop game as a genuine hazard, right?
It sounds crazy.
But if you don't understand the underlying mechanics of that specific interaction, you're going to lose a lot more than just a game of checkers. You are basically stepping blindfolded into one of the most highly optimized microeconomies on the planet.
And that is exactly what we are tearing apart today. Welcome to the Deep Dive, everyone. I'm your host, and I'm here with our resident expert. Let's just jump right into it. Picture this scenario, right? You've just survived a 20-hour flight.
You're completely exhausted.
Oh, beyond exhausted. You step out of the airport automatic doors, and the very first thing that hits you is the climate. It is this thick, aggressive, humid wall of air that practically wrestles you to the concrete.
It's a physical shock to the system.
Exactly. So you make your way out of Bangkok, maybe you're heading down to a coastal hub like Pattaya, and suddenly your senses are just completely hijacked.
Right, because the environment is relentlessly demanding your attention.
Yeah, I mean, there are neon lights aggressively flashing in every direction. You've got competing sound systems thumping bass out of open-air doorways, endless dizzying rows of bars, and people pulling your attention left, right, and center.
It's a total sensory assault.
You're standing there with your suitcase, sweating through your shirt, and you have this immediate, terrifying realization.
Yeah.
You're fundamentally out of your depth.
But for a newly arrived visitor, that overload isn't just about the sheer volume of sights and sounds. The real disorientation comes from the invisible architecture operating all around you.
Okay, let's unpack this. What do you mean by invisible architecture?
Well, you have just walked into a deeply complex social, cultural, and economic ecosystem. And, you don't even have a conceptual map of how it works yet.
And building that map is our core mission today. We are handing you the ultimate survival and thriving guide to Thailand. We are going to decode the unspoken rules, the unwritten laws of basic travel, the complex friction of handling your money, and most importantly, the exact step-by-step rules for navigating the notorious Thai nightlife.
We have a really massive stack of source material powering this analysis.
Yes, we are pulling directly from transcripts and guides created by seasoned travel veterans, guys who have lived this reality for years, who have made every humiliating mistake in the book, and they're now breaking down the essential hacks and the cardinal sins you need to avoid to survive your trip.
And what's fascinating here is that these sources go way beyond a simple generic list of do's and don'ts. If we scrutinize this advice, what we're really unpacking is the intersection of global tourism, behavioral psychology, and hyper-efficient commerce.
It's so intense. I kept reading these transcripts and thinking about how punishing it is to go in blind. It's like playing a complex video game without the tutorial, you know?
Right, because every single interaction, you have every seemingly innocent question. Every offered drink, every smile, it all has a specific mechanical function. Nothing is random.
One wrong move, and you're either emotionally bankrupt, actually bankrupt, or both. So let's start at the absolute beginning. Before we even look at a neon sign or order a beer, we have to talk about survival in the first 24 hours.
Yes, logistics form the bedrock of any successful travel. If your foundation is cracked, the entire structure collapses.
Exactly. You have to establish your basic infrastructure first, otherwise your vacation becomes an immediate administrative nightmare. And in the modern era, the absolute first lifeline you must secure before leaving the airport is your digital connection.
The sources are practically screaming this from the rooftops. Whatever you do not activate the international travel data package from your home mobile provider.
Oh man, yeah, it is a catastrophic waste of money. You are paying premium, exorbitant rates for what? Throttled speeds?
Exactly. The mandate here is to ensure your phone is totally unlocked by your carrier before you leave your home country. Then the literal second you clear customs and grab your bags at the airport in Thailand, you walk up to one of the telecom kiosks and buy a local Thai 4G SIM card.
And it's so cheap. The sources cite getting a massive 1-month unlimited 4G data plan for less than $30 US. It instantly connects you to the local grid.
It does. However, securing local data is only the first half of the equation. Having an internet connection is totally useless if you don't have the proper software to interface with the local population.
Right. And the sources place immense emphasis on a specific application called Line, L-I-N-E.
Yes. For a Western traveler accustomed to, iMessage, WhatsApp, or just standard SMS, the dominance of Line in Thailand can be really jarring.
It's everywhere.
It is not merely an optional messaging app. It is the absolute core operating system of Thai communication.
Yeah, one of the veterans in our sources talked about their absolute favorite massage spot in Bangkok. And this isn't some high-end corporate spa, it's a small local business. And they literally only take reservations through the Line app.
Right, you can call a landline, you can't email them.
Exactly. If you don't have Line, you do not exist in their commercial reality. But here is the exact trap that I would have walked right into without these sources. The sequencing of how and when you set this app up is a massive pitfall.
It's a classic technological oversight, really, and it creates severe downstream friction. The trap revolves around SMS verification.
Okay, let's break this down for people.
So if you follow the logical but incorrect order of operations, you arrive in Thailand, you physically swap out your home SIM card, you insert your new temporary Thai SIM card, and then you download and open the Line app to register.
And the app immediately asks for a phone number to send a verification code to. So naturally, logically, you punch in the brand new Thai phone number you just bought at the airport. You get the text, you verify the app, you spend your entire 2-week vacation adding new friends, local guides, businesses, maybe someone you met at a bar.
And then your trip ends. You head to the airport, you pop out the Thai SIM card, throw it in the trash, and put your home SIM back in.
Yeah.
And what happens to your Line account?
It evaporates, just poof, gone.
Because the account is irrevocably tied to that temporary Thai phone number. The moment that number is recycled by the local telecom company, you lose access. Your entire social network, all the contacts you meticulously gathered, the business connections, wiped out the moment you board your flight home.
It's devastating. And so avoidable. The vital hack here is to download the Line app while you are still sitting on the couch in your home country.
Exactly. You register the account and verify it using your permanent home phone number.
That way, the cryptographic identity of the account is tied to you permanently. When you land in Thailand, you swap the physical SIM cards just to get the local 4G data, but your Line account remains anchored to your real identity.
It's a tiny administrative detail, but it dictates whether you keep your newfound network or lose it forever.
Okay, so your phone is secure. Now, speaking of the physical grid, we have to address the hardware reality. Keeping your phone alive, along with your laptops and cameras, requires plugging into the Thai electrical grid. And this is where travelers routinely destroy their own property.
Yes, Thailand operates on a 220-volt power grid. Now, if you were traveling from North America, your devices are geared for 110 volts.
This part stressed me out just reading it. Our sources shared this agonizing anecdote about a traveler who walked into their hotel room, looked at the wall socket, and saw that their 2-prong American plug physically fit into the holes.
And they assumed that if it fits, it's safe.
Right, so they plugged in a tremendously expensive camera battery charger and instantly Boom! A loud pop, a flash of sparks, and the scent of burning plastic. The hardware was completely, permanently fried.
It is a brutal lesson in the difference between mechanical compatibility and electrical compatibility. Just because the geometric shape of the plug matches the socket, that does not mean the voltage is regulated.
So what's the fix?
You must physically check the microscopic print on every single power brick you intend to bring. If it does not explicitly say input 100 240V, meaning it is dual voltage, you cannot plug it into a tie wall without a heavy-duty step-down voltage converter. A cheap plastic-shaped adapter will not protect your electronics from being incinerated.
Check the tiny print on your chargers. Okay, so your phone is alive, your hardware isn't on fire. Now you have to physically move your body around the country. If you pull up Uber on your phone in Thailand, you are going to be staring at a blank screen.
Right, because the local equivalents dominating the ride-sharing space are Bolt and Grab.
Bolt and Grab, got it.
And they are indispensable tools for the modern traveler. They eliminate the most common point of friction for a tourist, which is the dreaded, unmetered street taxi negotiation. By using the app, you lock in the destination, the road is tracked via GPS, and the price is algorithmically fixed before you even open the car door.
I rely on those apps heavily when I travel, but the sources highlight a massive geographic blind spot you have to be aware of. You can't just use these apps everywhere with impunity, right?
Exactly. You are witnessing the collision of disruptive international technology with entrenched local monopolies. In highly lucrative transit hubs, most notably the Phuket airport, these ride-sharing applications are strictly prohibited from entering the official pickup zones.
There are local turf wars happening.
Yes, the local taxi syndicates have successfully lobbied to ban Grab and Bolt drivers from encroaching on their territory. There are massive threatening signs warning rideshare drivers to stay away.
Which is terrifying if you don't know the playbook. You land in Phuket, you're exhausted, you pull out your phone, and the app basically tells you it's illegal to pick you up where you're standing. Your instinct is to panic and just pay the extortionate rate to the local taxi mafia.
But the workaround is almost hilariously simple. It requires a basic understanding of invisible jurisdictional borders. The taxi monopoly only controls the immediate, designated footprint of the airport arrivals curb.
So what do?
The solution is to simply pick up your suitcase, walk 5 minutes outside the physical perimeter of the airport zone, pass the invisible boundary line, and request your Grab from the main road. The driver will happily meet you there, and you will pay a fraction of the cartel's price.
You just have to literally step outside the zone. It's brilliant. Now, if we are mapping out the foundational pillars of Thai infrastructure, we cannot move forward without discussing the absolute center of the universe for both locals and travelers alike. I'm talking about 7-Eleven.
Yes. The scale of 7-Eleven's integration into Thai society is difficult for Westerners to comprehend. In many Western nations, a convenience store is an afterthought. It's, a place you go at 2 a.m. out of sheer desperation for a processed snack.
Right, like an emergency stop.
Exactly. But in Thailand, it is a vital organ of the national economy.
Our sources note there are over 12,000 7-Elevens in the country. They are ubiquitous. You can stand on a street corner, look left, see a 7-Eleven, look right, and see another 7-Eleven.
And they aren't just selling chips.
No. They function as fully stocked pharmacies, emergency grocery stores, liquor depots, and primary culinary hubs. I mean, the veterans in the sources practically write love letters to the 7-Eleven ham and cheese toasties.
They are legendary.
You grab one for $1, the cashier throws it into a commercial press right in front of you, and it comes out piping hot. They call it fire, and honestly, it becomes a dietary staple for travelers.
But beyond serving as a reliable source of caloric intake, 7-Eleven serves a far more critical, unspoken macroeconomic function for you as a traveler. To understand this function, we have to establish the absolute governing law of the Thai street economy.
Which is?
Cash is king.
Okay, wait, time out. I'm traveling across the world in the year 2026. We have digital wallets, tap-to-pay smartwatches. Are you telling me I still have to carry wads of physical paper money? That sounds incredibly antiquated and frankly, infinitely more dangerous than just relying on a credit card.
I understand the resistance, I really do. If you are exclusively staying in luxury Western hotel chains and eating at high-end international restaurants in central Bangkok, your credit card will suffice.
Okay, but what if I want to explore?
Exactly. The moment you step out of that sterilized bubble to engage with the actual country, the moment you want to buy a skewer of grilled pork from a street cart, pay for a local motorbike taxi, or buy a beer in a small open-air bar, your digital wallet is entirely useless. The informal economy operates exclusively on physical baht. And if you avoid the street food out of a fear of carrying cash, you are depriving yourself of the single greatest culinary experience the country has to offer.
Okay, fine. Let's say I accept that I need physical cash. I'll just find an ATM when I need some, right? That's what I do everywhere else in the world.
If you rely on that strategy, you are going to bleed capital at an astonishing rate. The mechanical friction of banking in Thailand is uniquely punishing to the tourist. Every single time a foreign card is inserted into a Thai ATM, the machine levies a flat fee of 220 baht.
220 baht. Roughly doing the math, that's about $6 or $7 US. That doesn't sound like a total financial catastrophe.
It doesn't sound catastrophic until you contextualize it against local purchasing power. $6 or $7 in Thailand represents 3 entire meals from a street vendor.
Oh, wow. Put that way.
Right. If you are withdrawing small amounts of cash every day or two out of a desire not to carry a large wad of bills, those 220 baht fees compound rapidly. You are effectively burning 20 to 30% of your budget just to access your own money.
So what's the mathematically superior strategy here?
The sources are definitive on this. Bring a substantial amount of your home currency in crisp, pristine bills and exchange it at dedicated local currency kiosks that offer highly competitive rates, bypassing the banking fees entirely.
All right, so let's game this out. Let's say I didn't bring cash from home. I bite the bullet, I go to the ATM, I swallow the 220 baht fee, and I withdraw a large chunk of money to make the fee worth it. The machine starts whirring, and it spits out a stack of large denominations, mostly 1,000 baht notes.
Which presents a new problem.
Right. Now, 1,000 baht is roughly $30 US. In my mind, handing a $20 or $30 bill to a cashier back home is totally normal, but the sources act like holding a 1,000 baht note is a massive liability. Why is that?
Because you are fundamentally misunderstanding the liquidity of the street economy. A 1,000 baht note represents a significant amount of capital for a local worker. If you walk up to a woman selling 50 baht meat skewers from a pushcart and hand her a 1,000 baht note, you are committing a severe social faux pas.
Because she can't break it.
Precisely. She operates on a very tight daily float of small change. If she accepts your 1,000 baht bill, she has to hand over 950 baht in change. You have just entirely wiped out her liquidity for the rest of the day.
Oh, I see.
She can no longer make change for her next 20 customers. She will likely just refuse your business outright, rather than sacrifice her operational float. And this is exactly where 7-Eleven steps in to save you.
The unofficial change maker. This is brilliant. The strategy our sources lay out is to take that massive, highly inconvenient 1,000 baht note straight from the ATM, walk directly into the near 7-Eleven and purchase a single bottle of water or one of those legendary $1 toasties.
It is an elegant exploitation of corporate infrastructure. A massive multinational conglomerate like 7-Eleven has deep tills and continuous cash flow. They can absorb the shock of breaking a 1,000 baht note without the slightest disruption to their business.
So you buy a cheap snack and they give you a bunch of smaller bills.
Exactly. By utilizing them as a clearinghouse, you effortlessly convert your large, unusable notes into a stack of 150 and 20 baht bills, which are the vital lifeblood of the street economy. You are utilizing the macroeconomy to prepare yourself for the microeconomy.
I love how strategic that is. You are literally managing your own localized inflation. Now, speaking of macro strategies, we need to address how you actually move between cities.
Yes, macro travel.
Let's say you've conquered Bangkok, you've broken your bills, and now you want to hit the legendary beaches down south in Phuket. The overwhelming instinct for budget travelers, the backpacker mindset, is to obsessively search for the absolute cheapest ticket available.
It is a pervasive cognitive bias. Travelers often prioritize the preservation of capital over the preservation of time, fundamentally miscalculating the value of their own vacation.
One of the veterans in our source material shared a story of doing exactly this. He wanted to save a handful of dollars, so instead of flying, he booked an overland route. He took a train from Bangkok all the way down the coast to a transit hub called Surat Thani. Then he had to transfer to a bus, then another bus.
It's exhausting just hearing about it.
By the time he finally arrived in Phuket, the entire journey had taken him 20 exhausting, miserable hours.
20 hours of continuous transit to save what amounts to the cost of a few meals. It is an astonishingly poor return on investment. What many visitors fail to realize is that the domestic aviation network in Thailand is incredibly robust, highly competitive, and largely subsidized by sheer volume.
The sources emphasize that you can frequently find direct 1-hour flights from Bangkok down to Phuket for as little as $20 US. $20. When I read that, it broke my brain. Why would anyone spend a day and a night sitting upright on a rattling train when you can fly for the price of a decent lunch?
Unless a traveler is operating on the most austere to the penny absolute survival budget, or unless they harbor a specific romantic desire to slowly view the countryside via rail, the hour-long flight is objectively the correct choice. Your time is a finite, non-renewable resource on a holiday. Spending 20 hours in transit is squandering your most valuable asset.
Value your time. Okay, so while we are on the subject of people trying to take your money and waste your time, we must prepare you for the street-level interactions. Thailand is globally renowned as the land of smiles.
And rightfully so.
Yes, the people are famously welcoming, warm, and polite. But the sources issue a stern warning. You cannot allow your inherent desire to be polite to blind you to predatory tactics.
It relies heavily on your Western social conditioning. When you're a guest in a foreign country, you hyper-correct toward politeness. You want to be a good ambassador, right?
Right.
So when a sharply dressed local or a friendly tuk-tuk driver approaches you on the street with a beaming smile and asks a simple question like, "Hello, my friend, where are you from?" Or, "How long have you been in Thailand?" Your immediate socially conditioned reflex is to stop walking and answer them honestly.
Right. You say, "Oh, hi, I'm from Chicago. Actually, I just landed yesterday. Beautiful country you have here." It feels like a polite cross-cultural exchange.
Which feels nice.
But the veterans in the sources are brutal in their assessment of this. They say, "I'm so sorry to break this to you, but that friendly man on the street does not care about Chicago, and he does not care about your flight. He is probing your defenses."
It is an active assessment of your vulnerability.
Yeah.
It is purely transactional data gathering. By cheerfully admitting that you just arrived, you have inadvertently handed him the keys to your psychological vault.
What exactly am I giving away by saying that?
You have explicitly declared 3 things. First, you are carrying fresh holiday capital. Second, you do not yet know the baseline local prices for goods and services. And third, you are geographically disoriented.
Oh, man.
You have painted a massive target on your own back, marking yourself as the ideal mark for a rigged, overpriced tuk-tuk tour, a high-pressure tailored suit scam, or a fake gem hustle.
So how do we counter this? I mean, I don't want to walk around glaring at everyone and ignoring friendly people. That feels terrible.
You don't have to be rude. You just have to deploy an elegant psychological deflector shield. The sources suggest a highly specific, universally effective response.
What is it?
When approached by someone probing your background, and they won't accept a polite "no thank you," you simply look them in the eyes, smile back, and calmly state, "I live here."
I live here. That is such a fascinating linguistic weapon. Why does that specific phrase work so well?
Because it instantly destroys the scammer's business model, which is entirely reliant on information asymmetry. By claiming residency, you are projecting an aura of established local knowledge.
Like you already know the ropes.
Exactly. You are communicating that you already know the true cost of a tuk-tuk ride. You already have a tailor, you understand the geography, and you are entirely immune to beginner tourist traps. The moment the scammer calculates that they cannot leverage your ignorance against you, they will immediately disengage and scan the street for softer, newly arrived prey. It is a bloodless, polite victory.
Okay, let's take a breath. You've secured your SIM card, you're using 7-Eleven to manage your currency float, you're flying instead of taking the train, and you are expertly deflecting street hustlers. You have mastered the daytime logistics. You are fed, hydrated, and confident.
But the sun is setting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now we transition into the deep end of the pool. We are leaving the daylight behind and entering the main focus of our source material, the staggering, intricate, and highly volatile social ecosystem of the Thai bar scene.
We are crossing a major threshold.
We are talking about places like Pattaya. And let me assure you, everything we have discussed so far is kindergarten compared to the unwritten rules of the nightlife.
We are moving from managing basic, tangible infrastructure to navigating a highly structured, emotionally charged, and financially predatory environment. The rules of engagement are about to shift dramatically.
Let's ground this geographically. The sources describe the typical arrival. You take a minibus from the Ekmai station in Bangkok, you ride a couple of hours south, and you pull into the coastal city of Pattaya. You grab your bags and you start walking down Beach Road, or you turn down one of the famous alleyways like soy sits?
We should clearly define the term soy for the uninitiated listener, as it forms the geographic spine of Thai cities.
Oh, good point. What is a soy?
The soy is essentially a side street or an alleyway that branches perpendicularly off a major arterial road. They're often numbered. These soys aren't just roads. They function as distinct, hyper-localized biomes, each with its own character, density, and reputation.
Right, so you're walking down a soy. If it is your absolute first time, the veterans actually pinpoint a specific strategic location to establish your base camp, a hotel called the Flipper House, located on Soy 7.
It's a very tactical choice.
They recommend it because it is the perfect tactical middle ground. You are a short walk to the beach, you have pharmacies and 7-Elevens at your doorstep, you are surrounded by standard beer bars, but it is a manageable level of chaos.
It's a good wash pad.
So you drop your suitcase on the bed, you splash some water on your face, and you walk out into the neon glow. You have to decide where to spend your evening. And this is where you must understand that not all bars are created equal. There is a rigid hierarchy of establishments.
Yes. Categorizing these venues is not merely an exercise in vocabulary. It is a vital assessment of financial risk and social expectation. The rules of engagement, the cost of drink, and the behavior of the staff change fundamentally depending on which type of door you walk through.
Okay, let's unpack this hierarchy.
The sources delineate 4 primary tiers. The foundational tier is the standard beer bar. These are ubiquitous. They are open air, relatively casual, typically featuring a central bar surrounded by stools, maybe a pool table, and they can be staffed by a wide variety of personnel, all girls, all ladyboys, or a mixed staff.
Okay, I want to hit pause right here because we need to address the mixed and ladyboy bars head on. The veterans in the sources devoted significant time to this because there is a pervasive, often toxic stigma that many Western tourists bring in their luggage.
Very real issue.
There is this paranoid, simple-minded idea that you need to be constantly on guard to spot a ladyboy, or that if you accidentally walk into a ladyboy bar, you need to panic and run away. The sources flat out call this a pathetic, amateur mindset.
From a purely sociological and operational standpoint, bringing that prejudice into this ecosystem is entirely counterproductive to navigating the space successfully. Ladyboys, or Kathoi in the Thai language, are an integral, highly visible, and culturally celebrated pillar of Thai nightlife.
Right.
The underlying mandate from the sources is simple. You are dealing with human beings who demand and deserve basic fundamental respect, exactly the same as anyone else in the venue.
Sorry, let me rephrase that. It makes perfect sense. The advice is to just drop your armor and relax. If you walk into a bar and realize it's staffed by ladyboys, so what? They are almost always the absolute life of the party.
They really are.
They are energetic, they are hilarious, they are there to have a good time and entertain. Yes, they might be a bit more boisterous or over the top, but if you simply maintain a polite, joking, easygoing demeanor, you will likely have one of the best nights of your trip. Conversely, if you act disgusted, if you make a scene, or if you disrespect them based on your own cultural baggage, you will instantly unify the entire street against you.
It is the fastest way to ruin your vacation. Just be cool.
Just be cool. Okay, what's the next tier up from the beer bars?
Moving up, we encounter the second tier, the go-go bars. These are a distinct escalation in both sensory input and price. They are closed-door, heavily air-conditioned venues characterized by loud music, elaborate lighting, and a staff of girls typically dancing on central stages wearing numbered badges for identification.
And what's the economic reality there?
The economic reality of a go-go bar is that the overhead is higher, and therefore, every single transaction from the bottle of beer to taking someone out of the bar is going to carry a 20 to 30% premium over a standard beer bar.
You are paying for the air conditioning and the spectacle. Then we have a fascinating modern evolution, the gents clubs. Now, why do these exist? The sources explain that gents clubs are a direct architectural response to modern technology.
It's a really interesting development.
A gents club features heavy curtains that can be drawn to provide absolute impenetrable privacy for the customer. Why is that necessary? Because of the plague of live streamers and YouTubers.
It highlights a critical tension in modern tourism. Many patrons, perhaps businessmen or individuals with families back home, do not want to risk having their face broadcast to thousands of people on a random tourist's live stream.
Nobody wants that.
Furthermore, many of the women working do not want their digital likeness exploited without compensation or consent. The Gents Club charges a premium specifically to guarantee the complete elimination of digital surveillance.
Privacy is a luxury product. And finally, the fourth tier, the nightclubs. But The nightclubs operate on an entirely different business model. If you walk into a nightclub, there is no organized staff of women waiting to serve you drinks or play games with you.
Right.
The sources estimate that 80 to 95% of the women inside these mega clubs are freelancers, independent operators who usually flood the club after the standard bars close. We are going to dive deeply into the extreme danger of freelancers later. But for now, let's reset to the baseline. Let's say you walk into a standard open-air beer bar. What happens next?
The moment your foot crosses the threshold, the ecosystem activates. The standard operating procedure dictates that a woman, perhaps the one who verbally enticed you from the street, or someone stationed inside, will immediately guide you to a seat, hand you a menu, and take your drink order. And almost instantaneously, she, or another woman, will sit down directly next to you.
Now we have arrived at the psychological core of the deep dive. You are sitting there, your beer arrives, a beautiful woman is sitting next to you, smiling warmly, and she initiates what we are going to call the interrogation.
Right.
To the uninitiated traveler, it sounds like the most innocent, friendly small talk imaginable. But the sources reveal that it is a highly calibrated, rigorously tested script.
What you are experiencing is not small talk. It is an active, rapid-fire process of sales qualification. She is executing a verbal algorithm designed to assess your demographic profile, calculate your available budget, and test your overall naivety regarding the local economy.
I don't get it. How much can she really extract from just saying hello? What is she actually asking?
She will almost always deploy 3 specific questions in rapid succession. What is your name? Are you here on holiday? And the critical closer, is this your first time in town?
Wait, that circles right back to the street scammer logic. It's the exact same probe, just delivered in a much more pleasant, intoxicating environment. If I'm a rookie and I cheerfully answer, yeah, I'm here on a 2-week vacation, it's my first time in Pattaya, I feel like I'm just being friendly. But according to the sources, I have just set off alarm bells in her head.
You have essentially declared yourself an unprotected asset. By confirming a short holiday, you signal that you possess a high disposable budget, that you feel an urgent psychological pressure to spend before your flight home.
Oh,
More damagingly, by confessing it is your first time, you have formally admitted that you are uneducated in the ways of the bar. You don't know the true cost of drink, you don't understand the commission structure, and you are entirely blind to the standard emotional levers used to extract extra money from patrons. You are the perfect, frictionless consumer.
So how do I play defense? If I lie and act like a jerk, I ruin the vibe. But if I tell the truth, I get targeted. How do I navigate this dialogue tree?
The tactical response provided by the sources relies on projecting an aura of seasoned experience. You do not need to be hostile. You simply smile and deliver a narrative that neutralizes her leverage.
Like what?
You say something along the lines of, I'm here for a month or 2. I've visited many times before. I'm actually looking at real estate to potentially move here.
It's the I live here defense, weaponized for the bar. I love that.
It entirely inverts the power dynamic. By suggesting you are a frequent visitor or a potential long-term expat, you signal to her that you understand the underlying mechanics of the room. You know what a drink should cost, you understand the hustle, and you will not fall for beginner emotional traps.
So she backs off.
She instantly recognizes that she cannot deploy her standard beginner playbook against you, and as a result, the interaction becomes significantly more grounded and level.
Okay, so you have successfully deflected the interrogation. We're sitting there, your beer is cold. She realizes you aren't a total rookie. Now, how does the actual money start moving? Because, make no mistake, this is a commercial enterprise. The lights stay on because money changes hands.
This brings us to the fundamental engine of the nightlife microeconomy, the lady drink.
Great, you have your beer. Eventually, the woman sitting next to you is going to express a desire for a beverage of her own. But her drink is structurally and financially completely different from yours. When you order a lady drink for her, it costs significantly more than a standard beer.
Yes, and there's a very specific reason for that.
Why? Because you are paying a direct commission. A specific percentage of that inflated price goes directly into her pocket or is tallied toward her nightly quota. That commission is her financial incentive to sit next to you, to laugh at your jokes, to keep you entertained, and most importantly, to prevent you from walking out the door to a competitor's bar.
However, a vital piece of psychological armor you must possess is the understanding that her physical presence next to you does not legally, socially, or morally obligate you to purchase a lady drink the moment she sits down.
This is such a massive point of anxiety for Western men. A beautiful woman sits down and they feel this crushing, immediate societal pressure to start aggressively buying her 200-baht tequila shots just to justify taking up her time.
Very common reaction.
The veterans and the sources are aggressively clear on this. You do not have to buy her anything immediately. You are well within your rights to simply sip your beer, enjoy the music, and observe the room.
And if you choose not to purchase her a drink after 20 or 30 minutes, the market will naturally correct itself. She is a professional calculating her hourly yield. If she realizes she is not generating commission from your seat, she will gracefully excuse herself and move to a patron who is willing to spend.
So it's not a big deal.
There is no offense taken, it is simply the efficient allocation of labor.
But, assuming you do enjoy her company and you want her to stay and chat, the social contract dictates that you enter the economy and buy her a drink. This is where you have to be incredibly vigilant about boundary testing. Some women will sip a drink slowly and talk to you for an hour. Others are volume shooters. They will down a cocktail in 45 seconds flat and immediately gesture for another.
This is where the emotional manipulation tactics are deployed. If you hesitate to buy the second or third drink, you will likely be subjected to a carefully crafted guilt trip. The sources highlight a highly recurrent narrative.
Plus narrative.
She will adopt a melancholy tone, perhaps look away sadly and claim, I have only worked here for a week, I'm struggling, and nobody has bought me a single drink in days.
It's designed to make you feel like a monster if you say no. But the sources say this is almost always a tactical fabrication.
You must separate the technical fact from the emotional narrative. Often the technical fact is true. Many of these women work on rolling 10-day contracts. So yes, she may have only been on this specific current contract for a week. But the narrative she is spinning, that she's a destitute, innocent newcomer who just arrived from a rural farm and is failing at her job, is a calculated performance. It is designed to bypass your logical financial defenses by plucking violently at your heartstrings, compelling you to open your wallet out of a misplaced sense of Western savior complex pity.
It is absolute emotional judo, and just when you think you have a handle on it, the complexity multiplies. Suddenly, she waves across the room. Oh, look, my friend is here. She is also having a terrible night and hasn't had a drink. Can you be a gentleman and buy her one too?
And the pressure mounts.
Now you have two sets of eyes staring at you. The music is loud. You want to project status and wealth. You say sure. And suddenly, your slow, chic evening is burning capital at an alarming rate.
Which necessitates the introduction of the most crucial mechanical defensive tool available to you in the bar, the bin.
The bin. I am obsessed with the simplicity of this. It is literally just a small plastic cup or a little wooden pot that sits right in the middle of your table. Every single time you order a beer for yourself or you authorize a lady drink, the server brings the beverage, prints a small paper receipt, and drops that receipt into the bin.
Right.
At the end of your session, they physically pull the receipts out, tally them up, and present you with your total debt.
On the surface, it appears to be a wonderfully transparent analog accounting system. However, its transparency is entirely dependent on the customer's willingness to actively audit it.
Now hold on, let me channel the listener for a second. If I am on a hard-earned vacation, I'm a few beers deep, the music is great, I'm laughing, my cultural instinct is not to behave like a forensic accountant. Staring intensely at a plastic cup of receipts feels paranoid, cheap, and totally ruins the relaxed vibe. Am I really supposed to audit my table while I'm trying to party?
It is not a matter of paranoia. It is a matter of maintaining situational awareness in a predatory environment. The veterans explicitly warn how effortlessly an 11th receipt slips into a 10 receipt pile.
They just sneak it in.
Consider the variables.
Yeah.
You are ordering rounds for yourself, for the woman next to you, perhaps for her friend who joined, and maybe buying a shot for the bartender. The paper accumulates rapidly.
That's true.
If you abdicate your responsibility and wait until 2:00 a.m. when your cognitive functions are severely impaired by alcohol to review a stack of 18 receipts, you have entirely lost the ability to verify your consumption.
You have to check it as you go.
You must periodically reach into the bin throughout the evening and physically check the slips. The mere act of checking them signals to the staff that you are an alert, active participant in your own accounting, which drastically reduces the likelihood of being scammed.
Okay, let's play out the worst case scenario. I take your advice. I reach into the bin. I know for an absolute verifiable fact that I drank 4 beers and I bought her 2 drinks. That's 6 total. But I count the slips and there are 8 receipts in the bin. They have padded the bill.
It happens.
Or let's say the woman is just being incredibly aggressive, demanding drinks, and the vibe is turned completely sour. My instinct as a consumer is to demand fairness. I want to call the manager over, point to the fake receipts, and argue my case. I don't want to let them rob me.
If you follow that cultural instinct to demand justice, you are making the most dangerous miscalculation of your entire trip.
Wait, really?
You have to remove your ego and analyze the game theory of the situation. The absolute, immutable, golden rule of the Thai bar ecosystem, echoed aggressively by every single source, is this: do not, under any circumstances, fight the bill.
So you're telling me I just let them extort me? I just hand over my money to thieves?
You must redefine what you are paying for. You are no longer paying for drinks you didn't consume. You are paying an extortion tax to guarantee your safe physical exit from the premises.
Wow.
You are not going to win a verbal argument against a unified staff who hold the home court advantage. And if you escalate that verbal argument, you trigger the concept of face. You are publicly humiliating the staff by calling them thieves in front of their peers.
And what happens then?
The penalty for that insult is almost always sudden, overwhelming physical violence from the establishment's security and surrounding locals. You are paying an $8 overcharge to avoid a $5,000 hospital bill and a shattered jaw. You pay the padded total, you walk out the door, and you permanently blacklist that establishment from your itinerary.
The cost of the argument is infinitely higher than the cost of the fake drinks. Wow. Okay, message received. Pay and walk away. But let's rewind to when things are going well. You're sitting there, the bill is honest, but you can't just stare at each other all night. To fill the dead air, the bars are equipped with an arsenal of tabletop games. You'll see Jenga blocks, dice games, pool tables, and of course the infamous Connect 4. It looks like innocent, nostalgic fun, a great icebreaker.
It functions effectively as an icebreaker, but you must understand that it is also a highly refined, low-stakes hustle. These games are almost never played merely for prize. The implicit wager is always liquid.
Meaning drinks.
If you win, you are awarded a standard beer. If she wins, she is awarded a lady drink, which triggers her commission.
I cannot get over the imagery. Imagine a middle management guy from Ohio. He sees a plastic Connect 4 board. He thinks, I played this when I was 7 years old. I'm a smart guy. I can beat her. He sits down feeling confident.
Big mistake.
What his ego prevents him from realizing is that the woman sitting across from him has been playing Connect 4 for 6 to 8 hours a night for 5 consecutive years. She is the Gary Kasparov of Connect 4. She is seeing the grid in 4 dimensions. She will dismantle him in 12 moves, smiling the entire time, and instantly claim her 200 baht drink. It is a statistically guaranteed loss.
It's an entertainment tax. By all means, engage in the games. They're a genuinely fun way to interact despite language barriers. But do so with the full cognitive acceptance that you are engaging a seasoned professional on her home turf. You're paying a premium for the interaction, disguised as a friendly wager.
Losing a plastic coin game is funny. Losing a few baht is annoying. But we need to escalate to the most severe warning in the entire deep dive: losing your mind. We have arrived at the 3-day rule.
If the listener absorbs and applies only a single conceptual framework from this entire analysis, it must be the 3-day rule. It identifies the deepest, most destructive emotional and financial trap within the ecosystem.
The rule is stated with brutal clarity. If you spend time with the same woman for more than 3 consecutive days, you are going to catch romantic feelings, and it will obliterate your holiday.
The timeline is almost clinical.
The sources map the timeline perfectly. Day 1, you meet, you have a blast, it's exciting. Day 2, you decide to see her again because it's comfortable and she's beautiful. By day 3, a psychological shift occurs. She is telling her friends in the bar about you. She is FaceTiming her family up north and showing you on camera. She is applying an intense, laser-focused affection that makes you feel like you are the sole, heroic figure in a city of tens of thousands of women.
The psychological mechanism she's deploying is the manufactured illusion of exclusivity. These women are freely skilled professionals. Their primary product is not a beverage. Their primary product is affection, attention, and the simulation of genuine desire.
And it works so well.
When a Western tourist who perhaps is accustomed to the cold, distant, highly gamified reality of modern digital dating suddenly experiences this overwhelming, concentrated wave of validation for 3 consecutive days, their psychological defenses collapse. They begin to conflate highly practiced transactional performance with genuine, profound romantic connection.
And the fallout is catastrophic. You flew across the world for a wild 2-week exploration of a foreign culture, and suddenly you are spending every waking second localized to one person. You are draining your entire vacation budget buying her out of the bar every night. The veterans describe guys who fall so deep into the trap that they extend their trips, sign leases on condos, and a year later, they are sitting in a room arguing about adopting a street dog, entirely isolated, wondering how their life got hijacked. It is an emotional ambush.
And the tragedy is that it rarely sustains itself because the foundational architecture of the relationship remains entirely transactional. To perfectly illustrate the fragility of this illusion, the source material provides a microcosmic cautionary tale. We must examine the story of Adam and the hamburger.
Oh, I want everyone listening to put themselves in Adam's shoes right now. Imagine you are Adam. You arrive in Pattaya, you hit the bars, and you meet a stunning woman. You spend a couple of nights together. The 3-day rule is actively failing. The illusion is setting in deeply. You think, wow, she is really falling for me.
The trap is set.
On the 3rd night, you go out, you play some pool, you drink some beers, it gets late, you are exhausted, you just want to grab a quick, cheap street hamburger so you can go back to the hotel and crash.
Yeah.
But she stops you. She says she wants to go to a sit-down, formal restaurant. That means an hour and a half of waiting, ordering large shared plates, and a massive bill that you will have to pay. Adam looks at her, asserts a very mild boundary, and says, "No, I'm tired, let's just get a burger."
Observe what happens when the patron temporarily halts the flow of luxury. How does she react to being denied this relatively minor request?
The illusion instantly shatters. She throws a spectacular screaming temper tantrum in the middle of the street. She cries hysterically all night long, completely ruining the evening. But it gets worse.
The aftermath.
The next morning, having failed to manipulate him with tears, she shifts to financial extraction. She physically pulls out a crumpled receipt from a bar bill they had incurred days prior, a bill she had explicitly promised she would treat him to, and fiercely demands that Adam reimburse her for it, likely hoping he was too hungover to remember the original agreement.
If we expand Adam's predicament into a broader sociological principle, it perfectly exposes the operational mechanics of the girlfriend experience. The affection provided is strictly conditional. As long as Adam enthusiastically performs the role of the generous provider, funding the meals, the drinks, and the entertainment, the romantic illusion is flawlessly maintained.
But the second he says no,
The precise moment he asserts a boundary, a simple hamburger, he breaches his duty as the patron. The romantic facade is immediately dropped. Tantrum is deployed as a coercive manipulation tactic, and when coercion fails, she reverts to aggressive, retroactive financial extraction.
it is utterly ruthless. The sources are practically grabbing the listener by the shoulders. Do not wear your heart on your sleeve. It is a transaction. You can enjoy the company, you can have a wonderful time, but you must remain cognitively aware of the reality.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's assume our listener is strong. They understand the 3-day rule. They aren't falling in love, but they are having a great conversation, and they do want to spend more time with a woman outside of the noisy bar environment. How does that transition actually work? You can't just ask a bartender to clock out at 10 p.m.
No, you cannot.
Yeah.
You must remember that you are engaging with an active commercial enterprise. If you wish to remove an income-generating employee from the floor of that enterprise during her shift, you must financially compensate the business for the opportunity cost of her absence. This compensatory mechanism is universally known as the bar fine.
The bar fine. It is essentially a corporate non-compete buyout for the evening. You are paying the establishment to release her. The pricing structure varies based on the tier of the venue. If you are in a standard open-air beer bar, the fee to the house might range from 300 to 1,000 baht. If you are in a premium go-go bar, that fee can easily spike to 2,000 baht.
And there are incredibly strict, unspoken protocols governing the execution of the bar fine. A recurring, disastrous mistake made by frugal newcomers is attempting to circumvent the fee.
Oh, trying to sneak it out.
A tourist will quietly whisper to the woman, "Hey, instead of paying the bar, I'll just go wait for you at the 7-Eleven down the street until your shift naturally ends, and we can meet up then."
Do not attempt this. The sources are vehement. You have to understand the surveillance network of the bar. The bartenders, the security, the floor managers, they see absolutely everything. They notice when a girl is acting suspiciously, whispering or checking her phone. They notice the guy lingering across the street.
You're professionals at spotting this.
If they catch you attempting to sneak an earner out of the bar to dodge a 500 baht fee, you are viewed as literally stealing revenue from the business. The punishment is swift and absolute. you will be instantly and permanently blacklisted. Your face will be memorized by the staff, you will be physically barred from entering, and word may spread to neighboring bars. Pay the house. Support the business that facilitated the introduction.
Now, there's also a macro-level application of the bar fine that we must address. We previously discussed the psychological trap of the men who fall in love. When a tourist decides he wants to rescue a woman from the nightlife and elevate her to the status of his actual exclusive girlfriend, he cannot simply demand she quit her job.
Right, because she doesn't just work shift to shift. She's locked into a rolling contract with the bar, usually spanning a month. If Prince Charming wants to pull her out of the ecosystem entirely and move her into his condo, he is obligated to execute a total contract buyout. And we are no longer talking about a 500 baht night.
No, it's significant.
A contract buyout can range anywhere from 10,000 to an astronomical 30,000 baht paid directly to the bar. And the sources point out the brutal, tragic irony of this maneuver.
The irony is rooted in behavioral repetition. The overwhelming majority of these rescues fail spectacularly within a few months as the foundational incompatibility of the relationship asserts itself.
And what happens then?
When the relationship inevitably dissolves, the woman simply returns to the exact same bar, signs a new contract, and resumes her profession. Meanwhile, the tourist who spent 30,000 baht to buy her out is now permanently blacklisted from that establishment, as his actions caused a massive disruption to their staffing and operations. It is a catastrophic loss of capital, emotion, and access.
It's just an absolute wipeout. So, assuming you are sensible, and you are only executing a standard single-night bar fine, there is a very specific negotiation protocol you must follow to protect yourself from inflation. This is the you pay, you say rule, combined with the danger of asking the wrong person for the price. Let's say you want to take a girl out. If you look directly at her and ask, hey, how much is the bar fine? You have just made a critical tactical error.
By asking the product the price of the release fee, you have voluntarily introduced an unregulated middleman into a transaction that should be between you and the establishment.
Yeah.
And that middleman has a profound financial incentive to inflate the cost.
Exactly. Let's run the scenario. The woman knows the actual ledger price of the bar fine is 300 baht, but she looks at your watch, she hears your accent, she realizes you're a newbie, and she smoothly says, the bar fine is 1,000 baht. You don't know any better, so you agree and hand her a 1,000 baht note. She walks over to the cashier, silently hands over the actual 300 baht fee, and quietly pockets the 700 baht difference. You have just been effortlessly paid.
To prevent this arbitrage, the sources suggest a brilliant, highly effective tactical workaround. When you inevitably stand up to use the restroom, you bypass the woman entirely. You seek out the mama-san, which is the term for the female floor manager or matriarch who controls the staff and the register. And you ask her directly, what is the bar fine for this specific employee?
It's all about controlling the flow of true information. By speaking to the mama-san, you extract the official, uninflated corporate number, entirely eliminating the employee's opportunity to skim off the top. And that upfront negotiation extends beyond just the bar's fee. Before you even stand up to leave, you must explicitly negotiate and agree upon the financial expectation for her time and company for the rest of the evening or the following morning.
For a Westerner, this feels incredibly crass. It feels like negotiating a taxi fare when you are trying to maintain a romantic or fun atmosphere. But if you fail to establish the price beforehand, you expose yourself to limitless liability.
It's a disaster waiting to happen.
If you wait until the next morning to ask, what do I owe you? She holds all the leverage. She can demand a wildly exorbitant figure, placing you in an incredibly hostile, awkward position. If you agree on the figure up front, the sources confirm that the agreed upon price is ironclad and will never be renegotiated.
Lock it in. Now, once you pay the fine and step foot outside the neon glow of the bar, the financial dynamic shifts heavily. You are now the sole sponsor of the evening. This is the you pay, you say doctrine. Whatever happens next, whether it's getting food, taking taxis, or going to a secondary club, you are footing the bill. Because you carry the financial risk, you must maintain absolute dictatorial control over the itinerary. The sources issue a massive red alert warning about women who step out of the bar and immediately suggest going to a very specific unnamed club or a friend's bar down the street.
You must process those suggestions with extreme prejudice and skepticism. She is not suggesting a venue because the music is superior. She is almost certainly funneling you toward an allied establishment where she receives a hidden kickback for bringing in a wealthy tourist, or where her friends are employed and will aggressively expect you to purchase them premium lady drinks.
We have to tell the YouTuber horror story here. One of the veterans recounted a vlog he watched. A tourist pays a bar fine, walks out, and makes the fatal error of saying, "Where do you want to go?" She takes him to a premium, high-end nightclub. Within 60 minutes, she is ordering top-shelf imported liquor, she has secured VIP bottle service, and she is ordering expensive food platters for 4 of her friends who miraculously appear.
It escalates so quickly.
By the end of the night, the tourist is staring at a bill for 5,000 bar flats. Over $150 blown in an hour, entirely because he was too timid to politely decline her initial suggestion. You are paying, you choose the destination. If she suggests a place that sounds even remotely like a trap, you simply say no and guide the evening elsewhere.
Establishing and holding those financial boundaries is paramount. But up until this point in our deep dive, we have primarily focused on economic danger. Protecting your wallet from inflation, scams, and emotional traps. As we enter the final and most crucial section of our analysis, we must severely escalate the stakes.
This is the real survival stuff.
We need to talk about the golden rules of actual physical and social survival.
If we go back to the video game analogy just one last time, if you fail the financial levels, you respawn with less gold. It hurts, but you survive. If you fail the cultural respect levels, you trigger a permadeath scenario. You end up in a Thai hospital or a Thai jail. And the absolute non-negotiable bedrock rule of the country is this. You must never, under any circumstances, show aggressive disrespect to a Thai person.
To truly comprehend why this rule is absolute, a Western listener must deconstruct their understanding of conflict. In a Western bar, if 2 men get into an argument and push each other, it is generally viewed as an isolated, individualistic conflict between those 2 specific men. The surrounding patrons might watch, but they rarely intervene. In Thailand, if a foreign tourist aggressively disrespects or assaults a local, be it a bouncer, a waiter, or a driver, it is not viewed as an individual dispute. It is processed as a profound insult to the collective. It triggers the cultural concept of face.
The imagery the source uses to describe this is terrifyingly vivid. He warns that if you get drunk, lose your temper over a misunderstood bill, and shove a Thai waiter, you are not just fighting that waiter. Within seconds, 5 local men will materialize out of the shadows. The guy grilling chicken across the street will drop his tongs. The 3 motorbike taxi drivers resting on the corner will kickstand their bikes. They will all sprint over, form a perimeter, and, to use the source's exact phrase, kick your head in.
It is a collective immune response.
They don't even need to know the waiter personally. They are a collective immune system neutralizing a disrespectful foreign pathogen.
You must remember your status at all times. You are a guest. The famous Thai hospitality is a safety net generously extended to you, but the instant you act with physical or severe verbal aggression, that safety net is instantly withdrawn. The collective will protect its own. Therefore, the mandate is absolute. Do not initiate physical altercations. Do not become aggressively intoxicated to the point of losing emotional control. And crucially, do not physically manhandle the women in the bars.
The manhandling issue is a massive point of contention. You see these tourists, they get 4 beers in their system, their ego inflates, and they think they can just reach over and grab a woman by the arm to pull her closer, or aggressively grab her by the back of the neck to force a kiss. It is repulsive behavior, and it is entirely unacceptable in this ecosystem.
It violates everything about the space.
The exact moment you cross that physical boundary without an invitation, several things happen simultaneously. The woman will instantly complain to the mama-san, the bar's security apparatus will lock eyes on you, and the surrounding patrons will view you with hostility. Keep your hands to yourself unless explicit permission is granted.
Beyond the obvious threat of physical aggression, there are several subtle social faux pas within the bars that can trigger a massive loss of face, resulting in your immediate expulsion. Let us examine the seemingly innocent act of photography.
Great. You are on vacation and you see an incredible neon sign, the energy's chaotic, you're having the time of your life, so you pull out your phone, open TikTok or Instagram, and start panning around the room to capture the vibe. Do not do this. If you look closely, there are no camera signs plastered on the walls. And this rule exists to provide 2 distinct vital layers of protection.
The first layer is the protection of the labor force. As we discussed earlier, many of the women working in these establishments have families, conservative parents, or even boyfriends and husbands in the rural northern provinces who are entirely unaware that they are employed in the nightlife or sex industry in Pattaya. A random tourist's panning video uploaded to the internet could easily go viral, out them to their families, and utterly destroy their personal lives.
And the second layer of protection is for the customers. The veteran in the source brings up a hypothetical guy he calls Larry. Good old Larry. Larry is a mid-level executive. He has a wife and 2 kids back in London. He told his family he is in Thailand on a strictly business or golfing trip.
Oh, Larry.
Suddenly you pan your camera, and Larry's face is clearly visible in the background of your video, sitting with his arm around the bar pole. Your innocent attempt to capture the vibe has just initiated Larry's divorce. You do not film in the bar. It severely violates the implicit foundational code of privacy that allows the entire illicit ecosystem to function safely.
Another seemingly minor offense that generates disproportionate anger from the staff is the arrogant attempt by a tourist to control the environment specifically, attempting to hijack the music.
I mentioned this earlier because it's such a specific annoyance. A tourist walks in, decides he doesn't like the Thai pop music or the EDM playing, so he walks over to the DJ booth or the iPad and tries to put on his favorite niche heavy metal or obscure hip hop. You have to understand, the music isn't playing just for you. The staff has to listen to it for 10 hours a day. The other customers are enjoying the vibe. If you hijack the system and put on something jarring, you instantly kill the energy of the room. Other paying customers will leave, and the staff will deeply resent you. Just let the DJ do their job. You are a visitor in their space.
Similarly, do not attempt to undermine the fundamental revenue stream of the establishment by bringing in outside supplies. This is known locally as the cheap Charlie.
It's so embarrassing. A guy wants to save a few dollars, so he goes to 7-Eleven, buys a cheap 300-baht bottle of local rum, shoves it in his cargo pocket, walks into a bar, orders a plain Coca-Cola, and tries to secretly spike his own drink under the table to avoid paying the bar's liquor prices.
It's just disrespectful.
If the Mamasana security catches you doing this, you are not given a warning. You are instantly humiliated, thrown out onto the street, and barred from returning. It is viewed as an incredibly insulting, parasitic act against the business prestigium.
However, the most complex and emotionally volatile social faux pas involves the unwritten rules of patronage and returning to a venue. We must map out a specific scenario. Let's assume you have a wonderful evening. You walk into a bar, you meet a woman, you pay the bar fine, you treat her well, and everything goes perfectly smoothly. The next evening rolls around, you really enjoy the atmosphere, the music, and the pricing of that specific bar, so you decide to go back.
Seems logical so far.
But you want variety. You want to hang out with a completely different woman who works there.
Oh, this is an absolute minefield. I would never have thought of this, but the sources say this is a catastrophic no-no. I don't get it at first glance. Why is it a problem? I'm a paying customer. I should be able to buy a drink for whoever I want, right?
That is a fundamentally Western, purely transactional perspective. Mm-hmm. You are ignoring the internal social hierarchy and the concept of face among the staff. If you walk into that exact same bar the very next night, ignore the woman you took out previously, and begin aggressively purchasing drinks for her coworker, you are inflicting a massive public humiliation on the first woman.
You are telling the entire room, her boss, and her friends that she wasn't good enough.
Precisely. You have caused her a severe loss of face in her workplace. The atmosphere in the bar will turn instantly toxic. Furthermore, the new woman you are attempting to court will almost certainly refuse to engage with you.
Really, even for the commission.
Because she knows that by accepting your drinks, she is actively participating in the public humiliation of her friend and colleague. The social friction is simply not worth the commission. The rule is this: if you pay the bar fine for a woman, you are essentially locked into her exclusively at that specific venue for the duration of your trip. If you desire variety the next night, you must physically relocate your patronage to an entirely different bar down the street. It is a localized monopoly on your attention.
That is such a nuanced, fascinating role. Okay, shifting from social safety back to hard physical safety. The sources emphasize practical defenses against localized street crime.
The baseline rules of global travel apply. Do not flash large stacks of cash and maintain situational awareness. But the sources highlight specific threats. You must leave your genuine valuables, passports, large currency reserves, and expensive jewelry locked in your hotel safe.
The jewelry point is hilarious because the source specifically mocks guys who buy fake Rolexes on the street to look like wealthy high rollers in bars. He brutally points out 2 things. First, none of the women care what watch you are wearing because they see thousands of guys a week. And second, the knockoffs are manufactured with such cheap, toxic metals that within a week, the sweat and humidity will cause your wrist to turn a bright, infected green.
It's vanity backfiring.
Leave the watch out. But beyond vanity, we have to talk about actual theft. The veterans explicitly warn about highly organized pickpockets operating specifically on Soi 6 late at night.
It is a predatory strategy targeting impaired cognitive function. These pickpockets do not target alert tourists during the day. They wait until 2.0 or 3.0 a.m. You are stumbling back to your hotel. Your situational awareness is effectively zero. Your reaction time is deadened by alcohol. A stranger bumps into you, perhaps overly friendly, maybe giving you a quick hug or a pat on the back, and within 2 seconds your wallet is gone.
They're that fast.
Which reinforces the earlier point. You should only be carrying the exact amount of cash you intend to lose or spend that evening.
And please, for the love of everything, do not combine alcohol with rented motorbikes. The veteran in the source was incredibly grim about this. He stated he literally does not have enough fingers on his hands to count the number of acquaintances who have had horrific, life-altering, incredibly expensive accidents trying to drive a scooter out of Soi 6 while intoxicated. The medical bills will bankrupt you, and Thai traffic is unforgiving. Pay the $3, take a Grab, take a taxi, stay alive.
And while we are analyzing risk profiles and physical safety, we must address the fundamental structural difference between engaging with a woman employed inside a bar versus engaging with a freelancer operating on Beach Road.
This is a massive distinction. We spent this whole time talking about how the bars have rules, right? The bar fine, the receipts, the mama-san, but the Beach Road freelancers, the women standing under the palm trees waiting for customers, they operate entirely outside that regulated system. The sources issue a grave warning here. They point out that many, not all, but a significant portion of the women working the unregulated streets are doing so because they are unemployable in the bars. They may have failed mandatory drug tests, they may have a history of theft, or they're simply too erratic to hold a contract.
It ultimately comes down to the concept of institutional accountability. When you execute a bar fine and take a woman from a recognized establishment, there's a comprehensive paper trail. The mama-san knows who she is, where she lives, and who she left with. More importantly, when you return to a reputable hotel, you encounter the ultimate safety checkpoint, the ID drop.
Yes, the hotel reception check. When you walk into a decent hotel with a guest, the front desk security will mandate that she physically hands over her national ID card. They hold it. And the next morning, when she attempts to leave, the hotel staff will literally call your room phone or physically stop you in the lobby and ask, "Sir, is everything okay? Is your wallet secure?" If anything is missing, the hotel possesses her government identification.
That ID drop is an incredible deterrent against theft. But if you bypass the bar system and pick up a freelancer off the beach at 3 a.m., you have zero institutional backing. You bring a complete stranger into your room. If you fall asleep and wake up to find your phone, your laptop, your cash, and the woman gone, you have absolutely zero recourse.
You're completely on your own.
You cannot go complain to a mama-san. The woman has vanished into a city of millions. Your risk profile increases exponentially when you operate outside the established systems of accountability.
The danger is real. Which brings us to the final late-night venue type, which happens to be heavily dominated by those very same freelancers, the nightclubs.
The mega clubs operate on a shifted timeline. They do not truly populate until 1.00 or 2.00 a.m., precisely when the standard beer bars and go-go's begin pulling down their shutters. The demographic inside is a mix of off-duty bar workers looking for a final patron and dedicated freelancers. The pricing structure is the highest in the ecosystem, heavily pushing VIP bottle service.
But the absolute funniest, most bizarre detail the sources shared about the nightclubs isn't the pricing or the girls, it's the bathrooms, the unexpected toilet massages. I read this and had to laugh. You go into the men's room, you use the urinal, step up to the sink to wash your hands, and suddenly, out of nowhere, a guy steps up behind you and starts vigorously karate chopping your shoulders, massaging your traps, or trying to violently crack your neck. It catches you completely off guard.
It is a jarring physical intrusion, but once again, it is simply another highly specific microtransaction within the economy. It is important to note that these bathroom attendants are not salaried employees of the nightclub. They do not receive a wage. They purchase the right to operate in that bathroom, and they survive entirely on tips.
Right. So, if you are startled, but you let him finish the massage and hand you a paper towel, you are now socially and economically obligated to tip him, usually a 20 by a minute. If you do not want a stranger massaging your neck while you wash your hands, which is totally fair, you don't need to get angry. You just make eye contact in the mirror, firmly shake your head no, and they will immediately back off and wait for the next target. It's just one final tiny microtransaction you have to successfully navigate before you go home.
It is the perfect closing anecdote because it encapsulates the entire thesis of the ecosystem. Every physical interaction, every offered convenience, every smile has a subtle underlying economic premise. Which brings us to the ultimate synthesis of our deep dive.
We have covered incredible ground today. We built the map. We locked down the daytime logistics, get that unlocked phone, buy the local SIM, avoid the Line app verification trap by registering at home, use 7-Eleven as your personal corporate bank to break those 1,000 baht bills, and value your time by flying instead of taking a 20-hour train. We transitioned into the Muang jungle. We learned how to deflect the interrogation, how the Lady Drink Commission works, and why you must actively audit your bin.
So many rules to keep track of.
We learned the golden rule. Do not fight the padded bill, pay your extortion tax, and walk away to avoid the hospital. We learned how to protect our hearts from the 3-day rule and how to negotiate a bar fine directly with the mama-san. Thailand is an absolutely incredible, vibrant, sensory wonderland. It is surprisingly affordable and deeply welcoming, but only provided you understand the unwritten rules of the game you play.
And if a listener is looking for one single overriding maxim to draw from all these disparate sources, one universal law of physics that governs this entire landscape, it is this: absolute nothing is free. You will pay for every experience, every convenience, every illusion of romance, and every interaction. And as the veterans astutely point out, you have a choice in your currency. You'll either pay with your money or you will pay with drama.
Pay with money or pay with drama. I absolutely love that. It is the truest statement of the deep dive. But, as we wrap this up, reading through these sources sparked a thought that wasn't explicitly written in the guides, but it feels like the inevitable logical conclusion of studying this behavior. We sit here in the West and we look at the Thai bar scene as this highly specific, wildly transactional, almost alien anomaly, right? It feels foreign and illicit.
It's easy to other the behavior when the transaction is made so explicit.
Exactly. But I want the listener to really think about our own modern dating culture back home. Think about the extreme algorithmic gamification of dating apps like Tinder or Hinge. Think about the performative, highly curated affection displayed on a first date. Think about the exact, silent, high-stakes calculation of who is going to pay for the drinks or the expensive dinner based on perceived physical or social value. Are we in the West really that fundamentally different? Or has Thailand just stripped away the exhausting pretense, removed the societal hypocrisy, and made the underlying transaction completely refreshingly transparent?
It is a deeply uncomfortable but fascinating mirror to hold up to our own social constructs. When you enter an ecosystem where the rules of exchange are overt and mathematically defined, it forces you to question the covert, unspoken rules you have been blindly playing by your entire life back home.
That is exactly it. So the next time you step out of the airport terminal and that heavy wall of humid heat hits your chest, the chaotic neon lights of the city start flashing in your eyes, remember, you aren't just navigating a country, you are navigating Europe. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Keep questioning the rules, keep your guard up, and keep exploring the sources around you. See you next time.
Nice place,